The names used in this video are not real. The stories may or may not be real. This is for educational purposes only. Please only do what is legal in your area. There is no legal advice in this video. Now, I'm going to tell you a quick story about a cybersecurity researcher. We will call him Corey. So, Corey infiltrated something called uh, we'll call it the B Gang, okay? Which is a dark website that claimed users could hire assassins after accessing its private messages. Chris discovered real people submitting victims' names, addresses, photographs, and instructions for how they should be, you know. The website's operator realized Chris was doing this and saw that Chris was trying to expose the operation. So when the website's operator realized this, he started publishing Chris's personal information, spreading accusations that framed Chris as the actual criminal, and feeding that misleading information to authorities. Chris was eventually arrested and questioned, and after a deep investigation, the authorities were able to determine Chris was actually innocent and he was just trying to expose the website. Now, I say this just to give you a general example of what you can see on the dark web. And people hear these stories and even worse stories than these and think to themselves, is the dark web illegal? So, if you want a quick answer to your question, the answer is it depends on the country that you live in. And I will go deeper into which countries it is legal and which countries it is illegal in. Towards the end of the video, I will be providing some research I've done. But if you're still here, it's because you're interested in knowing more about the dark web. So I'm going to provide you with little brief history of the dark web and how it even started. So the dark web actually grew out of privacy, and like a lot of things in our present day world, it grew out of military research in the 1990s. And the US Naval Research Laboratory developed something called onion routing. And all this is it hides the user's identity by sending your internet traffic through multiple encrypted relays. So let me tell you an example. All right, the tried and true Microsoft Paint. I did a whole example and my mic wasn't on. Whatever, that's not your guys' problem. Okay, this is an example I'm going to show you. So let's say this is you at your computer, right? And we know that whenever you are on your computer trying to access a website, you're sending your connection out to that website, right? Because that's how you access it. So we're going to say this is the website that you want to reach. Now, normally, what happens with your connection is, you'll just go to that website, right? It's not so simple. Like, of course, you would go through the Wi-Fi, and there's certain things that happens to your data, and there's a whole breakdown, the OSI layer, model, whatever. Okay, we're not talking about that. This is just like a general of what happens, right? Now, with the onion router, um, which is what we just discussed, think of it like this. There's different nodes, Nodes, okay? And your connection goes through each of them before hitting your final destination, which is the website. So instead, you're going this way, right? You're going through, and each time you go through one of these red, and I just chose red, there's no actual color, okay? But each time you go through one of those nodes, it increases your level of anonymity, right? Of staying private, okay? So by the end of it, you have encrypted your connection multiple times, and it is very hard to track the origin of this connection. Okay, that's where we'll leave it. So that is a brief kind of picture of what it looks like. And this later became known as Tor, Tor, which stands for the Onion Router, which was released publicly in the early 2000s so that journalists, activists, and government workers and ordinary users alike could communicate anonymously. And I want to really provide an emphasis on a few here. Journalists, activists, yeah, let's put an emphasis on those two, journalists and activists. I want you guys to think for a second. There are some countries that really are holding their country into this kind of these governments are completely in control of their country to the point where they cannot even access normal internet, right? So, because of this, those governments are able to control news outlets and are able to control what their citizens can consume, right? So, if the government in these certain countries don't want their citizens to know something happened, they can just not share it or put out fake information to completely divert the attention from whatever actually happened. So, I want you to consider how powerful it would be if certain individuals in these countries could be able to look at news outside of their country and see what other countries are saying about their country. Or perhaps they had a sneaking suspicion that something happened, but their government was lying to them, and all they knew is what their government told them. But they were able to use the Tor to see real um, evidence that whatever their suspicion was that happened, it actually did happen. Right? So all in all, it is also a way for people to have certain amount of freedom where they otherwise would not have. And that's where the journalists and the activists is a big deal, because there are journalists and activists in these countries trying to do a number of of changes to their government, and in order for them to be heard and in order for them to get certain news and information, they need to use the Tor to do that, to communicate and to receive certain information. Now, at the same time, you can imagine if there's this certain network that's extremely private and it's hard to trace whoever is on it communicating and whatnot. Of course, there could also be crime that happens. And that's where you hear things like Silk Road, right? Is a place where they used to sell things that are not legal, and a lot of other weird, strange websites and other things that you guys have definitely heard, some scary stories. So let's get into, is the dark web illegal? So I will first start by saying this. If you are seeing this, it's probably legal, right? Because again, the places that don't want you to see these types of videos, they have it restricted for a reason. But I will tell you where it is legal, okay? And at the making of this video, okay, it could change. So do your research. But currently, it is legal to access the dark web in the United States, Canada, United Kingdom, Australia, most European Union countries, Japan, South Korea, and Mexico. There may be a few other ones, but those are the big ones. Now, some that are either restricted, right? So these next countries, they either heavily restrict it or they outright make it illegal. China, Iran, Russia, the United Arab Emirates, Belarus, excuse me, Iraq, Oman, Turkey and Uganda, North Korea, and Turkmenistan. Now, again, that list is non-exhaustive, right? So there could be more as well. But this kind of gives, I'm pretty sure the people that watch this video, I think you guys are in at least one of those countries. 99.9% chance, okay? So this has been kind of like a brief history and a little bit more about, is the dark web illegal, right? Again, I have shared with you which countries where it is legal currently and illegal. Now, What you do on the dark web, that's a whole different story. All of us know what's legal and what is not. And if you do not know, do your research, okay? Do not be doing anything sketchy, right? Because what you do on it is a whole different story. All right, so if you made it this far, like the video and subscribe if you're new, and thank you for watching.